My name is Leonardo Bigazzi and I'm an art curator and a film producer, and I have the privilege to be part of the St.Moritz Art Film Festival team since the very first edition. I was part of the jury the first edition, and then for the past three I've been part of the curatorial council. It's really extraordinary to be part of this festival. There's a community that gathers around the festival in the Engadin Mountains, and it's a community that is growing every year. And I think this year in particular we've seen some artists that from the past editions have returned, and this is always a beautiful sign. I mean, the festival exists thanks to the artists and thanks to their films. When Stefano Raboli Pansera invited me this year to reflect upon the idea of the theme of emerging virtualities, I started to think about the idea that it's not really about looking at how artists are using technology to, let's say, change their narrative and change their storytelling techniques, but it's more about how empathy and intimacy is entering the idea of how artists are negotiating their relationship with the digital sphere. And so I decided to select two films, very different ones, Nitz Island and The Mechanic of Fluids, that are in two very different ways. One is a long feature film, very visually very spectacular, and Gala Hernandez Lopez Mechanics of Fluid film is actually a much more intimate narrative, sort of an essayistic film. But both of them have this kind of approach where the digital sphere is not merely a space to observe or to research, but it's a space to enter. And so it really becomes the idea of a terrain where the artist can interact, modify, and build their own narrative and their own space. And so the dialogue between these two films, I think both of which actually, and it's quite interesting, are non-optic based films. So the camera is actually the screen of the artist, so a camera has not been used to actually produce the film, really kind of made us, I believe, and the audience really responded with a lot of questions and a lot of reflections that went on across the days of the festival on how the digital sphere is becoming for artists a space where let's say feelings are really perceived as truth. We live in a time of fake news. We live in a time where every image or every speech that we find online, we have to double check if it's real or not. And this idea of negotiating with a video game in the case of Nitz Island and with the incel community in the case of The Mechanic of Fluids, really it's this idea of engaging with communities and subcultures that usually are maybe inaccessible, maybe overlooked, but through the gaze and through the work of the artist, we're able to access and possibly understand them further. And so, in this sense, I think it was an important contribution also as art and film should do, open up a window on worlds that not necessarily we know or we understand.